Bill Belichick has coached in 9 Super Bowls. Nobody else in NFL history has coached in more than 6. Over an 18-year stretch with the New England Patriots, Belichick reached the Super Bowl roughly once every 2 seasons, a rate no other coach has come close to sustaining before or since. But the number that gets repeated the most, 9 trips, hides a much more interesting question. Does making it to the Super Bowl over and over actually mean you're winning it more often once you're there? The answer is no. And the coach who proves it isn't even in the conversation for most appearances. Start with the number everyone agrees on. Belichick's 9 Super Bowl appearances broke down as 6 wins and 3 losses. 2002, 2004, 2005, 2015, 2017, and 2019 in the win column. 2008, 2012, and 2018 in the loss column. A 67% winning percentage across the largest sample of Super Bowl appearances any coach has ever had. For context, the next tier of coaches, the ones with 4 or 5 trips, are working with roughly half that sample size or less. Belichick isn't just ahead on trips. He built the trips in the first place, across 3 different eras of Patriots rosters, with only one constant, the coach himself. Here's where it gets interesting. Second place for most Super Bowl appearances by a head coach is a tie. Don Shula with the Dolphins from 1972 to 1985, and Andy Reid across the Eagles and Chiefs from 2005 to 2025. Both sit at 6 appearances, 3 fewer than Belichick. But 6 trips means completely different things for each of them. Shula went 2-4 in his 6. A losing record across his Super Bowl career, despite being one of the winningest regular season coaches ever. Reid went 3-3, exactly a coin flip, including a brutal stretch of alternating wins and losses across his last 4 trips with Kansas City. Same number of chances. Neither one converted even half the time that Belichick did. Keep going down the list and the pattern holds. Tom Landry took the Cowboys to 5 Super Bowls across the 1970s and won 2 of them. A 40% clip. Joe Gibbs took Washington to 4 Super Bowls with 3 different starting quarterbacks and won 3. 75%, genuinely excellent, but still only 4 total trips, less than half of Belichick's 9. And on the other extreme end, entirely covered in a separate episode on this channel, Bud Grant with the Vikings and Marv Levy with the Bills each reached 4 Super Bowls and lost all 4. The 2 coaches tied for the most Super Bowl losses without ever winning one. Which brings us to the twist. If you're ranking coaches by Super Bowl winning percentage instead of raw trip count, the name at the very top isn't Belichick, Shula, Reid, Landry, or Gibbs. It's Chuck Noll. Noll took the Steelers to the Super Bowl 4 times in the 1970s. Super Bowls 9x, 13, and 14, and won all 4. A perfect 4-0, the only undefeated multi-Super Bowl coach in NFL history. Bill Walsh with the 49ers also went undefeated at 3-0, though with even fewer trips. But because both coaches made far fewer appearances than Belichick, neither one shows up when people rank coaches by most Super Bowls, the ranking that gets repeated the most. Noll has the best record of anyone who's been more than twice. He's just not in the conversation, because the conversation is about volume, not efficiency. Put the 2 lists side by side and you get a genuinely different picture of Super Bowl coaching greatness depending on which number you're using. By total appearances, Belichick, then Shula and Reid tied, then Landry. By winning percentage among coaches with more than 2 trips, Noll at a perfect 100%, then Gibbs at 75%, then Belichick at 67%. 2 different best coach arguments built from the exact same set of games, and they don't agree on who's number 1 outside of Belichick holding the top spot on the appearances list alone. So the next time someone says a coach is the greatest ever because he's been to the most Super Bowls, it's worth asking a second question. What did he do once he got there? Belichick has the most chances anyone's ever had, and he still converted better than 2/3 of them. Chuck Noll had less than half as many chances and never lost. Both numbers are real. They just don't point to the same coach. If you want more numbers that don't mean what they look like they mean, subscribe. There's more where this came from.